Okay, today we're going to learn how to use a new tool in OnShape, the one called Revolve. Also going to throw in how to use the fillet command and how to use the chamfer command. So this should be a very entertaining lesson. So here I am in the OnShape. I've created a new document. I've gotten rid of the top plane and the right plane because I don't need those. And I have just the front plane left. Now, since this project involves creating things in millimeters rather than inches, before I start, I click on the three lines up here next to OnShape, and I choose Workspace Units. And under Workspace Units, I have changed inches to millimeters, okay? I've changed inches to millimeters so that when I do my dimensions, they will stay in millimeters and not try to convert to inches, okay? So I'm going to start with a sketch of a rectangle, and then we're going to revolve that rectangle around to make a cylinder. So instead of drawing a circle and extruding the circle, we're going to actually draw a rectangle and sweep it around 360 with the Revolve tool. And it's actually a much more efficient way to do cylinder-shaped items is with the Revolve tool. So I'm going to create a new sketch on this surface, and I'm going to hit N for normal. I'm going to create by the way, you can draw a rectangle using 4 lines, or more efficiently, you can use the rectangle tool because it only takes 2 clicks rather than 4 or 5 clicks, right? So I'm going to click on the rectangle. I'm going to click on the origin, and I'm going to create about a 30 by 20 millimeter rectangle. So this will be 20, this will be 30. And I've got my rectangle shape ready to go. I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to turn it in the isometric direction. And this time, instead of just extruding it, which would bring it straight out into a rectangular prism, I'm going to choose Revolve. Now, Revolve is a 2-step command. You have to, first of all, in the blue area here, tell it which sketch you want to revolve. So I've got to click on the rectangle. Then the second line turns red, saying I also need which axis to revolve about. Click on the red bar, and it turns blue. It gives you 4 choices over here. We can revolve about the center axis, the top axis, the right axis, or the bottom axis. And again, notice they turn gold as I select them. So we're going to revolve this one about the center axis. And as soon as I click on that, the magic happens, and the Revolve tool takes this rectangle and revolves it completely around 360 degrees and turns that rectangle into a cylinder. So I'm going to finish that sketch, finish that model. Now that I have my 3D solid cylinder, I no longer need the front plane, so I'm going to turn that off because everything else I draw can now be sketched directly on here. Now what we're trying to draw is this thing here in lesson 125, the cylinder with a little handle on top, and then we're going to drop this into a multi-view drawing and throw some dimensions on it, okay? So I need to add the little knob on top that's 10 by 10. So I'm going to click on New Sketch. I'm going to click on the top circle up here of the cylinder. And it creates a sketch plane here. So I'm going to click N for normal. And I need to put a 10 by 10 rectangle or square here in the center. It has to be centered in this cylinder. Now there's 2 ways we can do this. One way is you can take a line tool and you can draw a radius out here. So if we're doing a 10 by 10 square, halfway would be 5. I could make a 5 this way, and I could come back to my line tool, and I could make a 5 up this way. And then I could actually click on the rectangle tool, get here where the 2 lines actually meet each other, here and here. You see the little dashed lines coming together, actually meeting each other, or they should, okay? And then you can pull out and you can actually make this 10 by 10, okay? The other way to do it is that I prefer, instead of drawing the guidelines, is to actually start with the rectangle. Go ahead and make your rectangle. Let's try that again. Go ahead and make your rectangle to be approximately 10 by 10. I'm not sure why this is not working. A sketch on here. I need to make a rectangle, and I need to Click and drag, okay? Make your rectangle already the correct size, 10 by 10. Now you notice my rectangle is not centered the way it should be. So what then I like to do is come up to the dimension tool, which is the two little double arrows, and I click on the center of the cylinder and I click on one side of the square. Now, if this was actually centered the way it should be, that dimension should be exactly 5, half of 10, right? So I'm going to make it 5. Notice the square shifts to the right. Then I also need to check the vertical direction. So in my dimension tool, I'm going to click on the center, click on the top, and I'm going to make this dimension 5, and notice the square shifts down. So now the square is perfectly centered within the cylinder. Okay, so I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to go to the ISO view. I'm going to just go back to plain old extrusion this time because it says we just need to extrude that square 15 millimeters. So I'm going to click on extrude. I'm going to click on the square, and I'm going to make this 15. Now, and click on the green check mark. Now, the last couple of things here is called the fillet and the chamfer. The fillet is a rounded edge. The chamfer is a sharp edge, like it's been sliced off. I'm going to click on fillet. Now, the fillet in the drawing here was 5, a radius of 5. So it's already set on 5. So to do your fillet, you simply click on the edge you want your fillet to be at, here, here. I'm going to rotate it around on the back here, fillet, fillet. And then you notice now I have all my fillets around the little knob. Click on my green check mark. That easy, right? And then we needed on the bottom down here, we needed to actually add a chamfer, a cutoff edge. Now the chamfer call out is 5 by 30 degrees. So when I do the chamfer, I'm going to choose not equal distance, but I'm going to choose distance and angle. 5, and I need to change the 45 to 30. And then all I have to do is click on this bottom circle, and what it will do, it will chamfer that edge 5 millimeters and 30 degrees. Click on the green check mark, and there you go. You have your first little revolved piece here with a fillet and a chamfer. It's now ready to be stuck in the drawing. So get used to the fact that every time we create a part, you're probably going to create a drawing that goes with it, a multi-view drawing with dimensions, okay? So we'll get that started. If you don't have a drawing already, you need to click on the plus sign at the bottom and choose Create Drawing. I already have my drawing created, so we're just going to go there. I'm going to click on Insert, View, and then I'm going to click on Insert again, and I'm going to click on Part 1. And by the way, if this comes in too big, you can change the scale right here to like 1/2 instead of 1:1. So now you guys got to get this habit. Always put the front view on the lower left. Put the top view above it. Come back and click on the front view again. Put the side view over here. Click on the front view again and put your ISO view up here. That's the way you create a multi-view drawing. Now, you need to go in and dimension. It's not a full drawing until you dimension it. So we're going to click on the dimension tool again up here. I got to get out of the other command. So we're going to actually create on the dimension tool. And it's changed, so it was not recognizable because I'd used something else. So sometimes it's going to look like a different icon here. So what you want to do is it's going to normally look like this with the double arrows. So you guys already know how to do the dimensions with the double arrow. You just click on a starting point and an ending point, and you pull up and drop it. That gets you a straight line dimension. But we have some special features here. We have a radius in this fillet, and we have a chamfer. So if you want to do the radius, you come up here, or the fillet, you pull down on the dimension tool, and you choose radial dimension. You click on the radius and you pull it out, and there you go. It actually drops in the radius of that. Now notice the drawing for some reason has gone back to inches, so we'll have to figure out why it's doing that, but that's okay for now. And then to do the chamfer, we have to come down here on the dimension tool, and I have to choose chamfer dimension. Okay, I click on the actual angle, and then I click on the other edge, and then I pull it back. Whoops, it didn't like that. Nope, don't want that one. So we're going to click on chamfer dimension, and I should just be able to click once and then click again and pull away, and it's not doing it right here. Let's see. Chamfer dimension. Maybe it's just a double click. Okay. Let's find out why this isn't working. All right, chamfer dimension should just, it should just grab it and pull it back into the actual angle, and it should just pull it back into an angle and Anyway, you guys play with the chamfer tool. I'll work with it here and see why it's not behaving right. It's done that on other drawings correctly. But you're supposed to be able to click on these two, and when you pull it back, it's supposed to give you a dimension that looks like this, where it shows a 5 and a 30, and somehow it's not doing that. But anyway, make sure you guys end up with the drawing. Now, I haven't put all the dimensions, so you need to add more dimensions to this. And you want to create this part using Revolve, Fillet, and Chamfer, and you'll be on your way to being a better CAD operator.